Good. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? You're fine? You're fine, nice. Okay, great. It was a bit of a surprise to see the rain this morning. I wasn't missing Belgium that much. Now it feels like home a little bit. Okay, right. So today we're going to move on with the writing exercises, and I'm going to show you a number of tools. I see you all, almost all, have your laptop with you, and that's very good. So you can immediately connect, if it's not the case yet, to the Moodle platform and to the course website. Can you hear me at the back? Yeah, nice. I'm so happy not to have any microphone or almost. So I just checked, and apparently 38 people connected to the platform. Not all of them are in the room today, but it's fine. And so thank you for posting your academic bio. Okay, so if I have a look at what you submitted, 29 people submitted it. Thank you very much for this. And so I went through all the paragraphs yesterday afternoon, okay, and was able to spot a number of mistakes, okay, or improvements, possible improvements, and we'll work on this later today, okay. The very first step, so as you know, you had to write it without using any tools, okay. So what I would like you to do now is to go back to your bio, okay, and go through it again, read it again, and identify bits, phrases, sentences, anything that you'd like to improve with tools, okay? Don't use tools now, but just be aware of what is difficult or what is problematic, okay? For example, you don't know how to say this in English, okay? So you will need a translation tool, or you're not sure of the tense in this sentence, so you will need to use a tool, okay? So just leave your first, let's say you leave your first text here, okay? That's the first version. Okay, so you leave it as it is, and then right below, so that's the big box, text box, okay? You copy it, copy paste it, okay? And you highlight a number of things that needs improving, okay? Do you understand? So in this, you open the submission, okay? In the submission box, you leave the first version as it is, you just copy it and highlight the bits and pieces that you think should be improved, okay? Take time to do so. Ask me if you do not understand what I'm saying or what I want, okay? So go back to Moodle, open your submission, and see what you think needs improving. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to write it if you don't mind. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Clear to everyone? So do not change everything to version 1. Just copy paste it and highlight what needs improving in the copy. The aim of this exercise is for you to become aware of your difficulties or what you stumble on. Feel free to ask me, to call me if you have any question. Ah, it's always like this. Yeah, sorry. So, no problem. Open your text. Go back to your text. Open it. Editar. You copy the paragraph below the first one. Just copy and paste it below the first one. No, in the same box, but right below it. Yeah, enter. So this is below the text. Yeah, and in the second text, you highlight what you're not satisfied with, what you find it difficult, what you're hesitating about, and that you will need to check with tools. Okay? You cannot use any tools now. You just have to identify what needs improving. Just saying, oh, this, I'm not sure about this. I'm going to highlight it. Okay? Yeah. Celine, prefer. Yeah, see, you copy the whole just below it. So same text. See everything, okay, copy, paste below it. Are you okay? You cannot connect? Maybe you can ask, I'm going to ask someone. Yeah, see? And then you say, I'm not sure. I'm going to highlight it because I want to check it later, okay? Or, you see? Okay? Sorry, I'm going to ask someone. Good morning. Bum, bum, bum. Ow. No, I don't. So don't use tools, just identify your difficulties, please. Can you speak English? Can you speak English? No, I'm going to ask. One participant has connection problems. He cannot connect to the Wi-Fi. I don't know if you can help or not. So we are working back on the biography. So we went back to your first submission, opened it again, okay? And so you take the text, copy paste it right below the first text, and you go through it and highlight sentences or tenses or vocab that needs improving, you think, okay? But you don't change anything, just highlighting now, spotting what you need to change, yeah? Are you okay? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not so weak at this move.
Well, you can still do it, okay? I mean, not now, but you can still do it. It's a good exercise, okay? Don't worry. Okay, can you connect to the platform, to Moodle? You need help? Oh, no? Yeah, sure. So that's the usual Moodle platform for the
I should write my bio.
No, yes, but first you have to connect to the course. So the course, you have to look it up. It's scientific communication in English. No, you just have to go through. Visita. No. Scroll up. Página principal, sí. No, it's back to the university page, sorry. Todos. Buscar is look for, no? Sí. Science communication in English. So some of you are still connecting to the platform right now? In English, science communication. It's science, right? Okay.
I think. Cloud. Can you send me
The link.
Yes, please.
How can I? I mean, I don't have any.
I don't know. Is this the link?
I'm going to show the homepage, yeah. How are you doing? Is it okay? Do you understand? Coming back to you in a second, just helping a few people to connect to the platform before we move on. So the SCIE is the course, that's for short, or Science Communication in English, yeah? You okay?
Yeah.
Nice. And when you've highlighted, you can save your submission again, okay? If you're ready, save the submission for now, okay? We'll come back to it later again. If you've highlighted the different aspects you need to improve, just save it again. Hello, good morning. Difficult to find the right size of room. Can you find it?
No, I don't find it.
Can I try?
Yeah, please.
I don't know.
Currently active. I don't know if we can find it in Progreso. No.
You may ask someone from the, yeah, take your time. Yeah, probably. Sorry. You done? And wait. I'm very sorry about your connection. Have you had time to go through it and identify the different aspects you'd like to change? Yes or no? Yes? Two more minutes, and then I'll ask everybody to save, okay?
I have now this course. I need the matriculation.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Céline, call me Céline.
Can I save the task before?
After, later, you mean? Yeah, sure.
Because I don't have.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Mhm. You don't have any connection? Oh. All right. Can you all save your submission, please, now? Even if you're not ready, if you're not finished, okay? Please save this submission again, okay? To make sure everything is saved, basically, okay? Your changes are saved. Okay? Oh, it's better than mine. Okay, and now I would like you to share some of the aspects you've noticed, you've highlighted. Okay, so feel free to say, oh, I noticed that I couldn't translate this word, or I highlighted a sentence because I wasn't sure of the tense, or, okay? Can you share this with me? Just go ahead. Don't be shy, okay? The room is smaller, okay? Yeah, what's your name?
Question.
Christian.
In my case, I have to use Google Translate because
You were not allowed to. You were not allowed to use tools, okay? It was only allowed. You were only allowed to.
only for review the syntaxes of a sentence or spell the word.
Okay, so spelling problems sometimes, okay? Translations? No, syntax. Okay, thank you. What about the others? What would you like to share with us? Yeah, what's your name? Montserrat? Okay. Correct me if I mispronounce, right? Because.
No worry, I know my name is Sal. I think I could polish a little bit more my blog because when we translate from Spanish to English, we used to put the verb first, and in English there's not always correct.
Uh-huh.
Or you could sound better if you put the verb on the end of it.
Okay.
I could polish some more when we read text translated from Spanish, we use the construction of Spanish, thus translating the words to another language.
Yep.
Maintaining the same structure. So we have to think differently, and that you have to separate from the text a little bit more, and then come back,
Yeah.
and then you find that kind of errors.
Okay, so it's more about style in your case, okay? Maybe with the syntax too, okay? Make sure that what you write is really English syntax, English academic style, okay? And take distance from Spanish, okay? Make sure you fit to the English criteria. Okay, nice. Anything else? Yes, you are?
I'm Christian.
Christian. It will be easier for me if you're all
Many Christians. I have problem because, for example, I write about me.
Yeah, sure.
And I think always in first person. And I have to think a lot how to change it to third person.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
It was difficult because I think I am and I am.
Mhm.
In using the third person.
Okay.
We should write, and that's what for me was difficult.
Okay, that's something I noticed, okay? So some of you wrote the biography in I, okay? That wasn't supposed to be the case, okay? But take distance. To help you, you can imagine that your biography will be at the end of a paper, or it will be read by someone in a conference, for example, someone introducing you. But of course, they will say, Christian is blah, 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 okay? Okay, so you're not introducing yourself, but you're helping someone introducing you. Okay, so keep this in mind to help you. Okay, right. Anything else you've highlighted? Anything different, maybe? Anything additional? Yes, what's your name?
Lorela.
Lorela?
Gabriela.
Gabriela.
Well, I think I'm not
Speak
that,
up for the whole room if you can. I repeat anyway.
I think I'm not that fluently to describe myself, so I have some trouble with the words to describe myself, and also the connections between the paragraphs. I think I have a lot of mistakes in that.
Okay, so connecting paragraphs, okay, together, right? And it's not easy to describe yourself. So I just want to say that we're spending some time on this academic bio. It's not the exercise that you're going to do most often, okay? We all agree on this. But it's a size that's manageable, and it can already say a lot about your writing. That's why we're starting here, okay, as a kind of diagnosis exercise before we move on to other exercises. Do you understand? So that's why, and it's standardized for everyone. It's the same topic for everyone, yourself, okay? So that's why we're starting here. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I also noticed a few, not mistakes, but, well, wrong uses of link words, yeah, in your text. Anything else? Yeah, you are? Omar.
Yeah, I also have a problem with the conjunction, maybe of
Conjunctions?
words, but I also have problems with punctuation.
Punctuation, yeah.
It's very important for me. So I didn't know where to use periods or
Okay.
commas or semicolons.
Okay, nice.
Hard.
Okay, nice. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, most of the time it was okay in terms of punctuation, okay? Some of you wrote the biography in kind of bullet style, okay? That was not supposed to be the case. Maybe you didn't have enough time or anything, but remember, it's a text, okay? A biography is a text, okay? Just imagine you're introducing someone, you have to say, well, Gabriela is blah, blah, blah. You're telling a story, okay? So remember this. Anything else? Anyone else before we move on? No? Okay, I thank you very much for sharing. So before we correct this, okay, I'm going to show you tools, okay, a number of tools that will allow you improve this text and help write, okay, well, anything you have to write in English, okay? if you remember well, in the questionnaire you filled in yesterday, I distinguished between translation tools, monolingual tools, writing aids, and AI tools, okay? So I follow the same pattern today, okay? I would like you to know and to pay attention to the fact that I know that there are artificial intelligence tools that can do everything for you, okay? You all know this. But I guess if you're here today, it's because you still want to remain the author of your text to some extent, okay? Do you see what I mean? So if you're here today, probably it's because you want to be able to write on your own, okay? And still, if most of you tend to use artificial intelligence to translate their text or to write their text, okay, you're probably all aware that you cannot trust them 100%, okay? So the tools I'm going to show you will help you start in English immediately, okay? So get rid of your Spanish writing habits, but start in English immediately, okay? From the words, from larger expressions, okay? And then be able to, to have a critical look at what AI offers you, okay, at the same time. So it can be complementary. You can do it on your own, but you also have the tools to be able to have a critical look at AI, okay? Right. So the section is hidden for now, okay? Probably I'll leave it hidden during the explanation so you really follow on the screen, okay? And I'll make it available afterwards, okay? I think it's better if you just look, okay? Follow the explanations, raise your hand and ask me any questions you might have while I'm showing and demonstrating the tools, okay? And then I'll give you the hand. Fine with you? Okay. Stop me if I'm too quick. It will be pretty long, okay? I'll try to be paced, okay? But there are a number of tools I'd like to show you. So react, stop me, I'll be sitting because it's easier since my computer is here, okay? All right. So translation tools are tools that will be used to help you translate single words or expressions from Spanish to English, okay? We all agree on this. I wanted to say something, but I don't remember what. Okay. I don't remember what I wanted to say. I'm going to show you a number of translation tools, okay? So they can, yes, they can be the beginning, okay, for, I would say, general academic vocab. For your technical terms, you remember we talked about technical vocab yesterday, you most probably already have them in English. If the literature is in English, then probably most of your technical terms are already available in English. If it's not the case, I wouldn't really rely too much on such tools because they're general tools, okay? So I would rather visit websites like Google Scholars. Do you know Google Scholar? Yeah. So, and browse scientific articles to try and find related constructs and see how much it compares and if it really corresponds to your technical terms, okay? So the translation tools I'm going to show you are more for general academic vocab, okay? Right. The first tool, can I move back a little bit? Yeah. So they will all be available on the website, okay? You can make notes if you want, but they will all be available in a few minutes. So the first one I wanted to show you, and I can make it bigger if necessary. Can you still hear me there at the back? Nice. Is word reference. You know it? Yes, some of you? Okay, I put all the settings Spanish, English, which is very difficult for me because I don't know Spanish, but so I focus on one typical word, okay, you might need in Spanish and move on then in the monolingual tools with the same words, okay? So if you need, for example, you don't really know how to translate this word into English, you can look up word reference. Is that big enough? I'm sorry, I have an ad blocker, but I don't know if it's on the, well, I don't know. It's not really working very well. So you'll get a lot of ads. I'm sorry. All right. So this is word reference. Word reference is a translation tool when you can enter a word in your mother tongue, okay? And then you find a translation in English, okay? In addition to the translation, so word for word, okay, you'll find compound expressions. So this particular word in context, okay? So a research article, a research scholarship, Brown Fellow, etc., okay? So all compounds with this base word, okay? Since I'm looking at the street, just call out my name if you want to ask me a question, okay? Because I might not see you. Okay, right, so this is a good one, okay? Word reference. Yep. Have you called me? So you cannot follow on the website for now. You just have to watch for now if you don't mind, and I'll make it available afterwards, right? Because I kept it hidden to make sure you're with me. And then I'll show it to you and everything. You can try everything, yeah? If you don't mind. That's the first one. I don't know if you know reverso. You know reverso? It's a good one too. It's the same thing, okay? Looks like another tool that you already know, okay? But it's not exactly the same. So if I write the same word, okay, you have this translation in English, research or investigation, because it can also refer to investigation, of course, and then examples in context, okay? So you have the context in Spanish and then the context in English, okay? The corresponding context in English, right? So all the tools I'm showing you are free or have a good free version, okay? You can still upgrade to the premium versions, but it's pretty good. Do you know Lingui? Yeah, some of you do. Lingui is a website that provides parallel texts, basically, okay? So if you look up the word research in Spanish to English, okay, you're going to find a number of sentences, okay, in Spanish on the left and then in English on the right. And so these are translations. Even though it's a good website, okay, I still have a few reservations for this because I think that sometimes the resources are not reviewed, so they're not 100% reliable, and they mainly come from, I think they're more relevant for some domains than others. So for example, they mainly come from governmental websites, okay? So they're especially relevant, I think, for law, okay? Or so this may prove very useful. You see, Europe here, Europe community, I think. So Lex. Okay, so it's very often about law, official institutions, governments, commissions. Okay, so I think it may prove particularly relevant for this, for these disciplines. Okay, rather. And the last translation tool I would like to show you is this one. You're all familiar with it. I just add a few comments on the best use, okay? I guess you all know DeepL. Yeah? Okay. So it's definitely an excellent translation tool, okay, for sure. It's reliable. Okay, not French, English, please. A research, okay, so investigation is research, okay. I would like to draw your attention, sorry, to the fact that the more context you provide, the better and the more reliable it will be, okay? So single words sometimes are mistranslated or wrongly translated because the tool, as excellent as it may be, doesn't have enough context to find the right translation, okay? So especially here, this word might also refer to something in the police or something, okay, investigation or, you see, inquiry. So you have to be careful. So the more context you provide, the more likely and the more reliable the tool is going to be, okay? So that's the only advice I can give you for DeepL. Provide context so that the translation is reliable. We're working here on single words, okay? So you know that you can also add and translate full sentences, full paragraphs, full text, okay? So it's not really the point here since, as I told you at the beginning of the session, we're still in the process of writing on our own, okay? Trying to build the sentences on our own, okay? And then checking if necessary. Are you okay? Any questions so far or comments? No? I'm moving on to monolingual tools. Which are my favorite tools, I must tell you, okay? Do you sometimes use monolingual tools, like monolingual dictionaries? Yes, which ones? Cambridge Dictionary, yeah? Oxford Dictionary? So are you familiar with them? Pons is for German, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, I know it, but it's an excellent tool in German, absolutely. And that's a monolingual dictionary, perfect. So my aim here is to show you that these tools can be used for productive purposes. Sometimes we think that an English dictionary is used to translate, okay, to see explanation because you do not understand the word in English. No, I'm going to show you that you can also use them for writing, okay? Right. I've selected 3 dictionaries, okay? They're equally good. I have my favorite one, I'll tell you, okay? I have no commission, it's just because I prefer it, okay? My favorite one is the Longman Dictionary Online. I'll tell you why I prefer this one. So I'll still use the same word, so let's stay with research. Right. What do you find in this dictionary? Well, as usual, I mean the definition of the word. In all monolingual dictionaries, you also have the pronunciation, okay, so how to pronounce it, so it can even help you orally, okay. This AWL means it belongs to the academic word list. I'll show you later. So it's an academic word, so you're on the right track, okay. And what I'm a fan of is this collocations box. I told you about collocations for maybe 1 minute. I could talk about collocations for days, okay? As I said, can you see it? But no, you can't see the screen. You have to say it. So collocations refer to how words combine naturally in the language, okay? It's not about meaning. It's not about grammar. It's about usage. That's the way it is. That's the way we say it. That's the way we write it. Okay? So there's no other justification. But mastering collocations will allow you to sound or to look, okay, or your writing to look native-like. Okay? Right. That makes a difference between intermediate learners and advanced learners. Okay? Being able to master collocations, to make sure you write you can use the right combinations of words. Okay? And so typically these monolingual dictionaries can help you out with this. Definitely. So you know how to just imagine you didn't know how to say research in English. Now you do. Okay, that's research. But how are you going to use it? Okay? And this is it. Okay? You do research. For example, you don't make research, but you do research. Why? That's the way it is. There's no other reason. You do research. Okay? Yeah, but that's it. Okay? You can also carry out or conduct research. Okay? If you're looking for adjectives to be used with research, here's a list. Okay? Scientific, medical, historical, etc., etc. Painstaking, pioneering research. Okay? Research plus noun. A research project, program, findings, okay, etc. A field of research, a piece of research, body of research. And they also draw your attention to common errors. Okay? You don't say make research, but do research or carry out research. So the strength of these tools is that they're all learners' dictionaries. So they were developed especially for learners. They rely on huge collections of texts written by learners from all languages, language backgrounds, okay? So they collected huge amounts of text, and so they collected the most common mistakes, okay? So they can really target your difficulties, your needs, okay? So it's an excellent tool, definitely. Right. That's the Longman Dictionary. I use it every day. Another one, which is as excellent as this one, but simply the layout is different, or I'm not as used to it as I am to the Longman one. So the second one is the Oxford Dictionary of Advanced Learners Dictionary. Same thing, okay, same process, same origin, same goal. And what about research in this dictionary? There you go. Definition again, pronunciation again, yeah. And you see, in this case, collocations are not really gathered in a separate box, but included in the entry. I find it slightly less readable, but that's really about me, okay? So if you love it, if you like it, use it, okay? It's the same info, but presented differently, okay? You also have other matches here, action research, market research, etc. You're going to say, yes, but there's a collocation box there. Yes, it's true, there's a collocation section, but if you go a bit further, you'll see that the collocations doesn't relate to the word research itself, but to the field, okay? So you'll find collocations for the word theory, experiment, but not for research itself, okay? So it may help you, okay, in your writing, but not if you're looking for the exact collocations for the word research itself, okay? Are you still with me? Great. All right. Of course, you know Oxford is really fond of word origins, so you can also go deeper if you're interested, but that's nothing to do with writing, okay? But there's a lot. Yeah, you have to know that all these dictionaries can also help you improve in English every day. They have word of the day exercises, a lot of vocab exercises, grammar exercises. So you can also work, you see resources, grammar, etc. So I'm not showing everything today. I'm just focusing on what is relevant for this class, but you can use them every day to learn English in, well, all aspects of English. What about the Cambridge Dictionary? Some of you already know. Research, we said. Here it is. Okay, so definition and then examples. But again, I find it less structured, but it's me, okay? It's me, so I do not want to prevent you from using it, just showing everything, but telling you about my favorite, my preferences. There it is, okay? And I also have examples, of course, same with the other dictionaries. You also have a lot of examples at the end of the entry to have more context. Okay. What I like in this Cambridge Dictionary, I must tell you, you asked for synonyms yesterday, okay, in the questionnaire. I saw, so there's a separate link for thesaurus. A thesaurus is a dictionary where you can find synonyms, okay? So if you look up the word research here, in the thesaurus, okay, so you'll find a number of, so this is for research as a verb, research as a noun here, okay. Okay, is it really a synonym? Of course, inquiry not, but study, and you can go to study and see, okay. So you can navigate to find synonyms. So that's a good thesaurus and a good source for synonyms, okay, for finding synonyms. Probably the section I prefer in this dictionary, and some of you also asked for a grammar revision yesterday, is this grammar section. They created seven categories, okay, grammar categories with a lot of subcategories in which you can revise, okay, all aspects of the English grammar, okay. So if in writing, for example, you're stuck with the distinction between, I don't know, affect, okay, affect or effect, what's the difference? I don't really remember, okay? And so they provide short sections written in English, but very clearly explain, very pedagogical, okay? You see, if we go through this, what's the difference between allow, permit, or let, okay? Is there a difference, or what's the difference again between already, still, or yet? We talked about linking words a bit earlier, okay? Although or though, okay? So you can go through this, and it's an excellent tool for this. It's very short, very straightforward, to the point, so it's easy to navigate, and you can easily find the answers to a wide variety of questions related to English grammar. Definitely, it's an excellent one. So if I had to choose, I would use the long one for vocab and writing, and Cambridge Grammar to help you with these easily confused words. But you can also go back to prepositions. There were quite a number of mistakes with prepositions in your text, in your biographies, yes. You can go back to verbs and the different tenses, okay? Tenses, times, passive voice, phrasal verbs, blah, blah, okay? So you can definitely go back to anything you'd like to revise in the English grammar, okay? Just a note on collocations again, you see I can't stop. So I showed combinations for words, okay? So you have to know that collocations can be verb plus noun, or noun plus noun, or adjective plus noun, okay? Or a noun plus verb, okay, as you saw in the structure maybe. But you can also have noun plus preposition, okay? Or verb plus preposition, okay? So what should we use this preposition after a verb? Because that's the way it is, okay? But so, for example, there were quite a number of mistakes in your biographies with the verb graduate, okay? So when you have time to correct your paragraphs, have a look at this, okay, and see what preposition you should use with graduates, okay? If you look it up in the Longman, for example, just to give you an example, you're going to find what preposition you should use with graduates, okay? Right. So it's not only for nouns, but for, okay, combinations of words, generally speaking. Tell me if I speak too loud, okay? Because I don't know how to adapt. I don't know if I'm too loud or not loud enough. So perfect, even for you, the front row. Okay, a last monolingual tool that's very quick to query is Scale. Scale is a sketch engine. Do you know sketch engine? No? So it's a tool that was developed by Michael Rundle, if I'm right, so that's a linguist, an American linguist, that also collected huge amount of text. Are you familiar with the term corpora, corpus, corpora? So a corpus is a huge collection of text. It's used in linguistics and applied linguistics mainly to identify language features, okay, from native speakers, but also learners, okay? So there we have big corpora, millions, okay, billions of words, okay, for learners, for native speakers, from discipline to discipline, spoken, written. So there are all kinds of corpora that can be queried. Here, okay, so it's a general querying tools. And so if you look up a word in Scale, and we're going to look up the same word again because that's a good comparison tool then. You can have, no, wait a minute. If we look up the word research, you see that you can look up the word research in a category that's called, in a section that's called examples, or in word sketch, or in similar words, okay? I'm going to start with well, let's say, word sketch is my favorite one. First, I show you word sketch. And this is what you get, okay? So that's a grid with all potential, or the most common combinations of words, including the word research. Research as subject, okay? So you can say research suggests that. Research shows that. Research focuses on blah, blah. You see the whole list of verbs most commonly used with research. Then research can also be used as an object, okay? Or with adjectives. Other modifiers of research, scientific research, further research, recent research, blah, blah. The last, so you can also have research plus another noun. Research projects, institute, finding, paper, university. Research and, research or, and development, teaching and research and education, etc., etc. Okay? If you click on the verb subject, suggest, for example, you obtain a small pop-up window with examples. There are only 3 examples there, but if you want to show all the examples, you can. Okay? Same with the rest. If you click on suggest again, mouse over suggest, then you have similar words. Okay? Again, they can all be used with research. Okay? Research shows, describe, indicates, has, be, considers, etc. Okay? And you can show, oh, that's nice. Nice cloud. Okay, these are the words used with research as subject, yes. Okay? So the reason why I started with word sketch is that because if you start with research within the bank of examples, you just get, no, it's not what I want. Wait a minute. I'm just checking, but I think if you look up research, search. Yeah. If you look up the word research and start with examples here, so you see what I did? So research, but then examples. Okay? The examples you get are a bit of everything. Okay? If you start with word sketch and then move on to the example sections, the examples are selected, okay, and correspond to your query. Do you understand? So it's really up to you. That's a bit of everything with research in it, okay? Or if you want to be more precise and systematic, you start with research in context and then the examples, okay? Right. It's an excellent tool. It's quick, it's easy to query, and you have all there, okay, and at a click, okay. I find it's an excellent tool, really, for research, for insight, for any academic word, okay, general academic words, okay. Right? Right. You're there. Going back to Moodle. This is for the monolingual tools. I spent quite a lot, well, quite a certain amount of time on them because I think they're really, really relevant. Still keeping in mind that you're the boss, okay? You keep writing on your own, okay? Without using artificial intelligence to do the job for you, okay? Any questions or comments so far regarding the tools we've seen together so far? No? No. Okay. We're going to move on to writing aids. Writing aids, as I said yesterday, are writing companions. They're there, okay? They appear on the screen, close to your mouse while you're writing, to wave, to underline, to highlight, okay? Telling you, hey, pay attention, there's a spelling mistake here, or there's a grammatical mistake, tense problem, okay? So these are writing, what is called writing aids, okay? I'm going to show you 3 of them. The first 2 are pretty similar. Fernando, you have to remind me. The first 2 are pretty similar, okay? The last one is different, okay? I'm going to show you. So, I mean, they're similar in that you can have them, you can add them to your browser, web browser, okay, or to your navigator, to your word processor, and it's always there, okay? It's your writing companion in your emails, in a Word document, whatever you're using, it will be there, okay? The last one, you have to open the window, okay, and check it there. I'm going to show you. Someone or several people talked about Grammarly yesterday. Who knows Grammarly? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Can you tell me why you use Grammarly? Gabriela? Yeah, you? What's your name? Marilyn? Okay. Can you speak up the group?
Grammarly is a tool.
Can you hear? Yeah? Nice. Thank you.
I help me with the redaction of the documents or letters and others. Yeah.
Okay, so it's always there. Okay, for example here, okay, so while we are talking, you see the way it works, okay? Yeah, but it's not the free version. But the free version, for example, it's difficult for me because I cannot write any sentence in Spanish, actually. But whatever you write, it's going to underline. I can show you in English, maybe. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. doesn't seem to be open here. Normally, wherever I am, there's a green bubble here, okay? If you get it, okay, you have a green bubble here, wherever you are, okay, in your email, in the Word document, that's going to, in Teams, I don't know if you use Teams, okay, but any online conversation tool, you have this green bubble there on your sheet, on your screen, on your window, and it's going to underline, okay, and suggest improvements for spelling mistakes, for basic grammatical mistakes. If you want to move on to style, okay, then you have to move on to the premium version, as you may imagine. It's always the same, okay? But it's, yeah, but log in. I can log in maybe. They have now upgraded Grammarly to make it a real writing assistant, even in terms of, here, for example, even in terms of summarizing, rewriting, etc. But it's not free, of course. But yeah, here you have a look from this demo paper. You can have a look at the way it works. Okay. For example, if you misuse a word, we talked about affect and effect. Okay, this is a typical example. And here, okay, Grammarly is going to highlight, identify, and spot this. Well, they call it a spelling mistake. I'm not sure it's a spelling mistake. Sometimes it's a vocab mistake, but let's consider it a spelling mistake. Okay, and so you should change effect into affect. Okay, and so you can accept Grammarly suggestions or not, okay? So here again, you have to remain critical, okay? And see if the suggestion fits into the context you're in, okay? Sometimes it's not smart enough to be in the right context, or sometimes you should not accept, okay, the suggestions, okay? So you have different colors for suggestions or errors, okay? Yeah, right. So it's a nice tool. I mean, you can use it free, and that's the first step to get rid of all the mistakes that can be easily avoided. And before you move on to more advanced writing considerations like style, conciseness, ambiguity, okay? If you want to get rid of this. With the free version, I mean. A similar tool is Quillbot. Do you know Quillbot? No? This is it. Okay. Quillbot can help. It's even better. I mean, the free version is even is more complete than Grammarly. Okay. You see, you have a grammar checker, you have a translation tool, you have a paraphrasing tool, you have a summarizer. Okay. So it's very complete from the very beta, if I may say, version. You see it works on these programs too. So wherever you go, again, you have this Quillbot extension that will be there, the little robot, the little bot, okay, that will help you. I'll give you some time to try them out, okay, afterwards. Right. But I think I had it before again. I don't know why. Is that because the... no, add to Chrome, yes, I know, but you can have a look here, okay? Again, grammar mistakes instantly. It works the same, basically, okay? Right. If you have it there in the background, it's the same as Grammarly. You have a paraphraser. So that's something that's not available for free on Grammarly. Okay, so that's included here. You can write a sentence and then choose to rewrite it according to the style you need to write in. So I don't know if you can read this, but for example, you can choose to write in standard English, natural English, formal English, academic English, okay, etc., etc. So from the start, okay, the basic sentence you're writing at the beginning, you can adapt it to different styles, okay. It's available in different languages. Right. So that's a writing assistant working on a lot of applications. The last writing assistant I want to show you is DeepL Write. Do you know DeepL Write? You know DeepL Translate, but not DeepL Write, probably. It's an excellent tool, just as DeepL Translate is, okay? So I'm going to write a sentence in English. I am an English teacher. Basic sentence, okay? At UC Louvain, well, at the university since, I'm making mistakes, right? Since 15 years. And so, yeah. See, you don't even need a correction, okay? This is my sentence in English, okay? And corrections on the right, in the right box, okay? So it's not a translator here, but you have your sentence in English and you're saying, okay, I would like to see, I'm not sure. So typically what you did this morning, okay, highlighting some part and say, this sentence, I'm not sure, I would like to check, okay? Copy your sentence, paste it in DeepL and have a look, okay? So you have this suggestion plus alternatives, okay? So what you're going to say, yes, but ChatGPT can do it too. Yes, it's true. But I think the difference here is that you can see what has been changed. Your mistakes are highlighted, okay? So we're still in the process of, I want to know what I need to change. I want to know where my mistakes are. I want to learn, okay? And I want to be able to do it myself, okay? So I see that I'm wrong with since. Oh, yes, it should be for. Yes, of course, okay? I am, why not? Oh, I have been, of course, yes, present perfect in this case, okay? And then you can choose between the different alternatives. But your mistakes are highlighted and you can be aware of them, okay? So we're still in the process of taking the time to learn, okay, how to write correctly. It's an excellent tool, definitely, okay? Any comment or questions for this? No? Right. What do you mean? Yes, of course. Here, for example, in style, you can choose simple English, business English, academic, or casual. Let's use academic. Okay. Okay. Oh, I must tell you, I wouldn't use the first sentence, you see? So I use it, but I never turn it to, well, you have to be careful with all tools anyway. So I think it's not most natural academic writing. I have been employed as an English teacher at this institution for a period of 15 years. I think it's a bit too much, okay? So if you have to use it in your biography, I think it might be a bit too much, okay? So for example, the first alternative, okay, I don't like this one, but I don't think period is absolutely necessary, okay? So To be able, so there are pros and cons. To be able to judge how right, how appropriate, how satisfying it is, you also have to have reached a certain level of command of the language to feel it, okay? So this tool, well, dictionaries can be used blindly, if I may say, definitely. For these, because it's AI behind it, of course, these AI tools, remain careful, okay? Don't just take everything for granted, okay? But make sure it sounds natural, okay? So I personally don't change it to, I don't know what the default option is, but I rarely turn it to academic. Well, it depends what I'm doing actually, but I rarely use it for academic writing. Me, okay, but well, you have to try it. You have to try it, and we can have a look at your sentences, okay? Let's say the present paper looks at, okay, you see, yeah, looks at the use of artificial intelligence by French-speaking students. Okay. It's a simple sentence, incomplete sentence, okay? So I haven't changed anything, okay? So I'm not saying it's academic, but still there's something behind it that I think detects we're in academic style. And so the suggestion is this paper examines instead of looks at, okay? How the use of artificial intelligence among instead of by, okay? French-speaking student, blah, blah, okay? We're going to see that look at can also be used as a phrasal verb. It's perfectly okay. So this is a suggestion, but look at is perfectly okay, but probably not the first option. So you see, you have different options and you have to see which one you feel more comfortable with, okay? It can also basically help you find synonyms, okay? Because if you don't know what to say, okay? Oh yes, examine instead of look at. Yeah, it's a good idea. Or focus. Oh yeah, it's another way of saying it, okay? So see what you feel more comfortable with. All right, that's it for now. I'm not going into AI tools now. That will be a next step, okay? See in research, generally speaking, how you use them, how you can use them, and then, of course, how you can use it for writing, okay? Right, any questions and comments so far? Yes, what's your name? Lenin.
Which one of these tools you shown us is the better for you?
The tool you use depends on your needs and your goal and your time, the time you have. No, but it's true. It's all about this. I mean, when you're where you're faced with a writing task, what time do you have to complete it? I mean, is it a paper you have to hand in 1 week, or is it something, you know? So it really depends on different factors. If you're in the mindset of, I want to remain the author of my paper, I want to write on my own, I want to learn, and I want to build my abstract or my paper myself, okay, step by step, then I would start from, if necessary, translation tools to make sure you have the right words, okay, and then monolingual tools to know how to combine them, okay, and then you may check against detailed right, for example. That's a process I would follow typically, okay? If at the same time you want to avoid spelling mistakes, basic grammatical mistakes that do not really impact your writing style, okay, because tense use, okay, then install Grammarly or Quillbot that will work in the background, okay, and correct spelling mistakes and basic tenses, okay? So you can move on with your ideas and your style, okay? Yes, that's what I would do. If you have no time at all, you write your text in Spanish, you put it in DeepL Translate and you get a translation or ChatGPT, okay? It may be the case, but it may happen, okay? It may happen, but you have to check anyway. Yeah, you have to, well, you have to be careful, I would say. It may happen from time to time if you really don't have time for this. But yeah, an intermediate option would be you write your text the first way I've just presented, and then the final result, you can also put it in DeepL Write, check it in DeepL Write, or in ChatGPT, for example. Among the AI tools for writing, ChatGPT is probably the best one, okay? For writing, for language, yeah, especially in English, okay? So you can take your final text and ask ChatGPT to make comments, but then your prompt has to be very clear and ask ChatGPT to be, well, to highlight or to tell you what should be improved, okay? So you can spot the areas that can be improved, or you just put it there and get the output, the final output with the final version. But again, it may take time to compare, see what has been changed, and if you really like it or not. Does it correspond to your writing style, to your current level in English? Okay, so yeah. I don't know what you currently do. What do you do when you have to write something in English? Yeah.
I have a question more about academic dishonesty or plagiarism. If I write my text and put it in corrector, if it turns out that it has been used, an AI has been used, and is going to be a problem because some journals are forbidding to use IA or AI
Yeah.
to correct. So when I write, I try to do it as much as possible and use as less as possible because I'm afraid that if I correct it, I will have problems with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. So if you're publishing a paper for a particular journal, first thing you have to do is to check the guidelines, of course, and the restrictions on AI use. Very often, anyway, you have to disclaim AI use, okay, and say what you've used and what for, okay. So to feel safe, your procedure is the perfect one, I think. And you have to know, and maybe you've seen it and you've noticed it by yourselves, we can see when you've used AI, it really shows. It really shows because the structures are the same, repetitive. The vocab is repetitive, okay? So if you submit a paper that has been written by, not written with, but written by, okay? Or with, but to a large extent, it will show. It will show from the words used, from the structure used. It's so repetitive. I mean, I tried it out, for example, with students of mine, master students, and it was writing a covering letter in English, okay? And I gave them the choice to write them on their own, okay? Or to ask ChatGPT to do it for them, okay? And so the first test was in 2023, and 30% of students decided to write it on their own, okay? I was impressed, I mean, and because they were afraid of ChatGPT and plagiarism, etc. And those who decided to ask ChatGPT to do it for them, okay, so asked ChatGPT, and then I collected all the letters, and it took me 3 minutes to identify which letters had been written by the students and which had been written by ChatGPT. As feedback, I anonymized 6 letters, 3 written by students and 3 written by ChatGPT, okay? And it took them 5 minutes to identify which had been, okay, the 2 types of letters. Why? Because there was recurring vocab, okay, structures. So just imagine you're applying, I told them, just imagine you're applying for a job. There are 100 candidates, and you've all written your letter with ChatGPT. How do you stand out? So the risk in academic writing, academic publishing, is a bit of the same, I think. Aren't we going to find papers with all the same structures and vocab? Because there are a lot of conventions. Academic writing has a lot of conventions. We have academic vocab, academic structures. You should say it that way. It's like a covering letter, same thing. You have an opening, you have a closing. In between, you're supposed to use typical expressions. So the more conventions you have in the register, in the genre, the more likely it is to be repetitive, of course, and to be similar from one paper to the other. But still, I think your personality, your skills, and your knowledge, your skills, lie in this personalization of your own writing, in your own writing.
But the question is, for example, using Grammarly. Grammarly only corrects sometimes words.
No.
And with the sentence to word,
Yeah.
something like common errors or the places of the verbs.
Yeah.
It counts as AI or it's mostly a personal side?
The premium version is AI. The premium version is AI. DeepWrite is AI. Okay? Yeah. So, DeepL Translate is AI now. Google Translate is AI today. It's everywhere anyway. So, but yeah, coming. So I think it's not forbidden to use it. Okay? Definitely not. It's not forbidden to use it. Okay? But you have to use it for limited purposes, okay, for very precise purposes, and not to write your paper or to translate whole paragraph. I think that's too much. Even translating whole paragraphs is too much, I think, okay? It's not your own writing. It's not your own writing, okay? But we've always been allowed to use tools to write. I mean, it's not new. We've always had tools, dictionaries, paper dictionaries, okay? It's always been allowed. But as long as you ask someone to do the job, there have been translators before, human translators, I mean, translating papers for you. So it's always existed, okay? So there are two things, yes, ethics, okay, personal commitment to your writing, and then guidelines and restrictions and plagiarism, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just imagine you're publishing for a review about a very specific scientific topic. So the vocab is very restricted. The variety of research questions will be limited. So the chance of having recurring structures and vocab is really high. So yes, you have to be careful. Yeah, sure. Yes, you had a question. What's your name?
Janet.
Janet.
Even though you have mentioned that, of course, as investigators or researchers, we have to use artificial intelligence in a limited way, is there any percentage to have like a limit for us to know that we have to use? I have the same concern that she mentioned, because of course we try to write by ourselves, but sometimes of course we use artificial intelligence. So my concern is that if maybe you have known that there is, as I mentioned, is there any percentage that we have to use as
No, I'm afraid not. I think it really depends on it's a very moving field, you know. There's nothing stable about AI. It's very quick, it's very elusive. I mean, what you're saying today won't be true tomorrow, and what you're discovering today will be dated tomorrow. No, I think I think it really depends on the different journals, okay, on their own guidelines, on their, degree of tolerance towards AI use. No, have you experienced anything like this? Sorry, I don't remember your name.
My name?
Yeah.
No, I said because, I wrote my doctoral dissertation in English, so I used Grammarly about 10 years ago, and it was just a helper. It was not AI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now there's a lot of tools, and and we have heard that when we write with EA, and we're having these problems with the undergraduate dissertations
Yeah.
of our students that they are writing with EI.
Yeah.
So our problem is how to measure when it is helping you to improve your language and when it's writing for you. And
Yeah.
if you have to do a dissertation and your goal is analyzing the topic and learning how to write and how to think, and you use for the whole process,
Yeah.
we have a very ethical problem
Absolutely.
that we are passing through now. And we
All
have heard
universities, yeah.
that some journals are forbidden using EI, and if you use it, you are like banned from the intellectual arena
Community, yeah.
because you are not writing
Yeah.
yourself.
I see. I get your point. But it's a big debate in all universities in Belgium too. We're trying to set up policies, but it's very difficult. And all the plagiarism detectors sometimes trigger false positive. So it's also difficult because if you have very good writing skills, can you be blamed for writing perfectly? I mean, because you see, can it be considered that you use AI because it's perfect vocab, perfect collocations, as it should be? Well, it's very difficult to find a balance. So it's not only about writing, it's also about finding your ideas, etc. I mean, the students use it to have a structure, to have ideas, to find new paths for the dissertations too. So it's not only about writing. So now, I used to teach this seminar in Belgium a few months ago, and there was a question from an architect, and that was a true question. We had a discussion like this, so I was there, and he said, you know, Céline, I'm wondering why I still have to spend time trying to write good English. My aim is to share my ideas, my projects, and do I really need to spend that much time having beautiful sentences, perfect style, while tools can do it for me, you see? So it's another question. It's a true question. I mean, it's a true question. They can do it for you. So we have it's artificial intelligence that can write for us. We have artificial that can, intelligence that can do something else, okay? So it's a big debate. I have no definite answers. What I'm showing you is how you can remain the authors of your text, okay? How these tools can help you start from your ideas and put your ideas into words, into English sentences, okay? As efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible, with easily and freely accessible tools, okay? Combining everything and maybe then finishing with the last check of an AI or something, or not even a reviewer or yeah, but yes, of course. Yeah, it's a very big question, sure. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I have seen assistance.
Yes. Okay, right, thank you.
Could we do a break here?
Absolutely, yeah, let's have a break. Yeah.
Vamos a tener cuarto de hora de receso. Por favor, tenemos algunos 10 participantes que están afuera esperando. Vamos a hacer, después del receso, nos vamos a trasladar a la aula 2 para que puedan los participantes que estén afuera también ingresar. Entonces, no se demoren mucho, son un cuarto de hora hasta nosotros podemos acabar de total y nos acomodamos. Entonces, las personas que necesitan la energía directa, traten de conseguir una corriente para que puedan seguir trabajando. Espero que no se vayan y continúen en el curso. Muchas gracias por estar acá.
Dear Celine,
Yeah.
we have some participants outside, so we have to change another
Room?
Yeah, after the break. Thank you.
Where are we going to? Where?
Next.
Okay. We keep moving.